Hello, everybody. It is, I almost said teacher Jenny. Just got finished teaching. You can see my hat. I'll probably take this off. This is going to be annoying with this hat, isn't it? Um, I just got finished teaching hat and skirt in my last class. I'll take it off. Okay. Um, I am coming to you on day 2 um, of round 3 on hCG. And I got on the scale this morning and I lost 1.7 pounds. So that is exciting. So as you know from the last video, or last 2 videos, I gained 6 pounds. 6. This is 6 in Chinese. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And they're very different from American Sign Language. Like this is an R in American Sign Language, but it's 10 in Chinese. And this is 9 in Chinese, but it's the letter X in American Sign Language. And this is an L in American Sign Language, but it's an 8. So I had to retrain my brain. Okay, that's neither here nor there. And you don't even have to use those numbers. I just do. Some people do. Some of the kids use them, so I learned them myself. It's not required. All right, so I started at 172.9. It's so hard for me to say those numbers. I am really making myself use the numbers this time because I feel like it's the shame. If you watch Game of Thrones, shame yourself into being good. Yeah, 172.9. And then I did 2 days of loading and I gained an additional 6 pounds during 2 days of loading. How that was even physically possible in my body, I don't even know. But that's what the scale said. Again, understand when I say pounds, it's what the scale says in terms of pounds. We know that that's not fully fat that I added, although I ate pretty close to enough calories to gain 6 pounds of fat, but I didn't. Anyway, so this is normal on the hCG protocol on the 2 days of loading while you're starting to take your hCG hormone and you're eating as much fats as you possibly can for 2 days to see the scale skyrocket. So it's not something to panic and worry about. The next 2 days, it almost always comes down. And I said before, my protocol or my standard, if you will, when I'm on hCG is that I gain about 5 pounds in the first 2 days, sometimes not quite that much. But usually about 5 pounds, and in the next 2 days, or really the first 2 days on the hCG phase 2 protocol, or eating properly on the diet and just the diet foods and just the amount of calories that the diet permits, I usually lose those same 5 pounds. Well, sure enough, I went and looked at my numbers and I gained 6 pounds in the first 2 days and I lost 6.2 in my first 2 days on the hCG protocol. So that was encouraging to me to know that really I started losing weight from the very beginning. Usually it's not until day 3 that I start to see a loss from the original day that I started before loading. So I'm down 0.2 overall, 172.7. It's so hard to say that. I'll say it quietly. It's the truth. The good news is I really feel confident. Today's Thursday. I really feel confident that by like Sunday, I'll be into at least the 160s again. The 160s, the numbers I said last time I was on this, I would never see again. And I'm excited to get into the 160s. Jenny. All right, so today I'm going to talk about what to eat and what not to eat. And I'm going to talk about, I said that I was going to say how I eat versus what you should eat and all that. And I thought I'd break that up so that you can just watch the video on what you're most interested in. So today I'm going to talk about Dr. SIMEONS' protocol and what he said you should eat on P2 in its most strictest form. This is what I did the very first time I went on the diet. I found it more difficult because it is very strict, but I probably lost the most ever. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers. I mean, that was, I don't know, 3 years ago or something that I did it for the very first time. But I'm sure, I mean, I must have lost the most on the diet that way. So if you're really trying to lose a ton and you can be very good and you're highly motivated to stay on the protocol, then this is the way to do it. And this is the way that Dr. SIMEONS designed it. All right, so here we go. Basically, you get to wake up in the morning and take your injection if you're taking your hCG that way. If not, then you would take the drops in the morning. And you may have coffee or tea or water. Welcome to breakfast. All right, it's not sounding great right off the bat, does it? No. But that is what he said that you should start off your day with. All right. Ideally, black coffee, unsweetened tea. Although he said that you could add sweetener to it. And I'll talk about different sweeteners on another video. Basically, he said that you could have any sweetener. In this day and age, we're saying stevia you should have, and everyone's going to say you should only have stevia. But the reality is, if we're sticking to Dr. Simeon's protocol, any sweetener will do. Because back in the 60s, they didn't have stevia. They didn't have some of the better sweeteners that we have today. So, aspartame and all the other sweeteners that are there were acceptable. And so, yeah, sweet and low, any of the ones that some of them don't even taste very good. Excuse me. My nose is tickling because I have a cold. Okay. Thank you. Apologize for that. All right. Then you get to eat lunch and you get to eat dinner. You'll eat the same thing for lunch and for dinner. And this is what it is. 1 protein, 1 vegetable, 1 fruit, and 1 carb. Now that sounds pretty good, right? Twice a day you get to have a protein, a vegetable, a fruit, and a carb. All right, so this is very different if you watch What to Eat on P2 on my previous videos, because when I learned about it, I learned about separating the fruit from them, but on his protocol, I went back to the original protocol, so I could just tell you this is exactly what Dr. Simeon said to do. And he said you could have your protein, your vegetable, your fruit, and your carb together. Now, we're going to talk about what do those 4 things look like. You can't have any protein or any vegetable or any fruit or any carb, unfortunately. Croutons in your salad are not acceptable. So let's go ahead and talk about what does that look like. Okay, first we're going to talk about protein. The amount of protein that you can have in each of these meals is 100 grams. So that equals 3.5 ounces, not even 4 ounces. A lot of times I'll say 4 ounces because I have that in my brain. But really, when I went back to his protocol, I saw 3.5, 100 grams. I thought, oh, wow. Okay. So that you get for lunch and for dinner. Now, what does the protein look like? Here are your choices of things that he said that you could have for protein. You could have a chicken breast. You could have veal. You could have any white fish, pure white fish, no skin, just the white fish, like a cod or a flounder, a sole, a halibut, those kind of white fishes. Let's see. Let me see if it says here. Catfish, cod, flounder, halibut, sole, red snapper, sea bass, tilapia, and trout. All acceptable according to Dr. Simeon's. Just make sure there's no skin, and of course we're not cooking it in butter. We're going to boil it or bake it or cook it in some way that doesn't include additional fats. Also, he said that you could have lobster, crab, or shrimp as part of your protein if you choose to. All right, so that you get twice a day, 3.5 ounces of it during your meal. Now, the vegetables. It's interesting. He does not qualify or quantify how many, I guess he qualifies it because he says what kinds. He doesn't quantify how much vegetables you are to have. So, it just says you can eat it until satisfaction, and that's basically what this diet is about. I'll talk about that another time in terms of just eating to satisfaction. In fact, let me write that down for a second. I always like to write new topics. I threw away my other sheet of paper of topics I didn't cover. Eat to satisfaction. Okay. And I'm sorry. If I don't write it down, I'll forget. I don't have the kind of brain that I remember everything. I got too many things going on to remember everything. I'm at the point, but my whole life has been that way. I need to write sticky notes and notes to myself. Okay, so here are the vegetables that you can eat on the protocol. They are asparagus, beet greens. I don't even know what that is. I can guarantee you I'm not going to like it, so I'm not going to try. Cabbage, celery, chard. Again, sad to admit, don't know what chard is. Chicory. I've heard of chicory. I don't think I've ever eaten chicory. It's acceptable. Cucumber, and many people love cucumber. I mean, cucumber's okay. Growing up, I always had cucumbers in our salads for dinner every day, and so I kind of got over it. Um, but certainly, um, if it's something that fills you up, and I could see how people like them because they're very juicy. There's a lot of water in it. It's essentially like a 0 calorie kind of vegetable, which is why I'm sure it's on this list. And well, all of these are basically 0 calorie vegetables. I don't think the asparagus would be, but anyway, it's on the list, so you can have asparagus. So cucumber, that's going to be exciting for some people. Fennel, I'm so basic. I don't really know. I mean, I've heard of fennel. I just don't know. I couldn't identify it if I saw a picture of it. But fennel, I think it's, I don't, I'm even going to say because I don't want to make myself look like more of a fool than I am by already admitting I don't know what fennel is. Lettuce, got that. Onions, radishes, spinach. Yay, you can have a spinach in your salad if you want. And tomatoes. I'm really surprised about the tomatoes because I know that there's a little sugar in there, but I mean, he just saw the value of tomatoes. So if you like tomatoes, not a huge fan of tomatoes myself. I like tomatoes cooked in things, and I like tomatoes on a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. I like tomatoes on tacos. um, I like tomatoes in all their cooked forms with Italian food. But just straight up tomatoes like in my salad. It's not the part of the salad that I enjoy, so I don't know. I just basically leave them out. So, okay, those are the vegetables you can have. All right, so we went over our proteins, we went over our vegetables. Now, what fruit can you have with your meal? Very limited choices. You have 4 choices basically. You can have one medium-sized apple, or you can have a half of a grapefruit, not the whole grapefruit, half of a grapefruit. Now, you can't sprinkle sugar on it. I know a lot of you like your grapefruit cut in half and you have sprinkle or sugar or brown sugar or whatever on top. No, just straight grapefruit, half of a grapefruit. You can have one orange. They're all about the same size, so you're permitted one orange. Or you can have a handful of strawberries. This typically would say is about 5 to 7 if you want to push it. Strawberries. They do have sugar in them. Well, the apple certainly does too. The apple has a lot of sugar in it. So this was the most surprising part about the protocol for me, was the fact that you could have these fruits. So, all right, so now we know what protein you can eat, you know what vegetable you can eat, and how much vegetable. And you know which of the 4 fruits you can choose from and how much of them that you can have. Twice a day now. All right, now it comes to carbs. On his protocol, he gave 2 options for carbs. One is Melba toast. I mean, that sounds amazing, doesn't it? Toast. We all love toast, right? It's not toast like a piece of bread that we stick in the toaster. Melba toast is a piece of bread about this big that's really hard. It's like an extremely hard cracker, and you can get them at your local grocery store. um, and you get one of those for each of the meals, or you can choose a grissini stick, and this is what I did when I first started on the diet. In fact, I still have some of them. Maybe I'll throw some just for crunch in my salad since I can. A grissini stick is a very long, it's a breadstick, but don't get excited. This is not like Olive Garden. They are very thin. They're about the size, almost exactly look like a pencil. Size of a pencil. Very skinny. Pull out one of my pencils here. So yeah, this is what your grissini stick is going to look like. It's this big, it's crunchy and hard. And it's just something to give you a little bit of crunch, or if you're like, wanting some carbs in with your protocol. So this grissini stick, which is probably a little bit longer than this pencil, they're about this long, I would say, when you get them. Be mindful that they now make some grissini sticks with oil. So check to see on the ingredient list at your local grocery store when you find the box of grissini sticks, which I think I found them in the like Italian food section. Um, Make sure that they don't have olive oil. Look at the ingredient list and that olive oil is not listed there. If we're going to stay on the strict protocol with Dr. SIMEONS, they can't be made with olive oil. Okay. Um, Now, Dr. SIMEONS also said that if you want, you can have one lemon a day. So, some people might just straight up eat lemons. I think I would do a lot of wincing if I did that. But the good part is you can squeeze this lemon into water. So if you want some lemon water to help you drink more water, because drinking as much water as possible is always recommended, whether you're on a diet or not. Um, so you can take that lemon and squeeze it into, a thing full of water and just let it soak in there and stay in there all day and just keep pouring yourself some lemon water. That's okay. Um, and then the use of sweeteners, he says, is okay. Um, and you can also, if you want, when you're preparing your protein, or I guess even on top of your vegetables, you could add any spices that you want. You just have to be aware of spice blends. Um, some spice blends like seasoning salts and different, and just any, like even like Italian spices, something in a container. Sometimes they add sugar to them. So look at the ingredient list. If they do add sugar, it's usually one of the first 4 or 5 ingredients. So it should be pretty easy to see if it's a blend mix. So be aware of spices. Not all spices are made the same. Not all of them are just dried up spices put into a container to make them taste better. Many companies add sugar to their spice blends. So be aware of that. Straight spices, you can have as many of them as you want. What I am the most excited about is I'm a bit of a saltaholic. Now, mind you, my blood pressure is normal, actually closer to the lower end, so I'm okay. But I love to salt everything. So salt is permitted on this diet. Yay! Salt and pepper and any other spice that you want to add to. All right, that is your protocol. That's it right there. So that is the strict protocol that he gives us. There are alternatives that you can have to that over the course of time we have learned, mostly through medical centers that have done hCG diets under doctor supervision. They have altered this list a little bit to say this is just as good as this. But I'm just giving you today the strict protocol, the protocol I followed the very first time, what you can and cannot, basically what you can, because everything else is cannot. What you can have on the protocol. And I'll talk another day about substitutions that we can put inside here. So there you go. I am on day 2 and I'm just going to say day 3. It's so hard for me to, we're just going to say day 3. From here on out, I'm just going to say day 3. Because day 1 was the first day I ate on the diet. Is the first day that I ate on the diet. This is day 3 that I'm starting on the diet, but my weigh-in number. Okay, no, I'll stick with, okay, I'm going to do this from here on out. I'm going to always look the day before. I will do that from now on because it makes the most sense to say it's day 2 because I've really only eaten on the diet and my scale is reflective of day 2, even though I'm starting day 3. Okay, I went through this on the last video, didn't I? I'm a mess. Really, people. I don't know why you watch these videos. Bless your heart. Hopefully it makes you feel better about yourself and that your life is more together than mine is. All right. Maybe tomorrow it would probably make the most sense if I talk about substitutions that are acceptable on the hCG diet. So we'll do that tomorrow and I'll give you tomorrow's weigh-in number. I will admit I'm not planning on getting out today. And I finished all my lettuce yesterday. And I could make some mixed vegetables that I have in the freezer. I think I have a bag of just broccoli too. Of course, broccoli not on the list, right? Did I say broccoli? No, I didn't. Broccoli not acceptable. Do as I say, not as I do. Um, I have one bowl of turkey chili left. I might have that today. So it's going to go bad if I don't eat it soon. And nobody's eating it. It's been around for like a week in the refrigerator since I made it when my kids were all still home. And everybody was eating it for a while, and I was eating it because, I love to throw croutons in it. And I love to throw cheddar cheese on top of it. I can't have that, but it's still going to be very enjoyable being on this diet to have that. So I think I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. See, isn't this crazy? Right at the end of the video of how to be very strict on the protocol, I'm going to tell you that I'm not going to eat well. But I'll look around. If I find any salad, any lettuce, I should say, in my refrigerator, then I'll make a salad for myself again. But I don't think I have it. So we're going to be interesting to see what tomorrow's numbers look like, which is the bowl of chili. I've done this before, and I did well on the turkey chili. So I still lost weight. So I'm encouraged a little bit by it. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll give you more information on ways that you can tweak the hCG diet in terms of foods that doctors have approved since SIMEONS has passed away. Current doctors are saying are okay on the protocol. All right, you take care, have a good day, and happy dieting out there. Bye, everybody.